Pressure on Matt Fraser. James Newberry currently sits in 6th. Underway, we start with that 800-meter row, and we were talking a little bit about this event. To me, this reminds me a lot of like a Jackie type of workout.
Yeah, you nailed it with that. That's exactly what this is like. I mean, it's lightweight, very high intensity, except we're trading a much more higher skill movement there at the end. Instead of pull-ups, ending with pull-ups, you're going to end with a handstand walk. But for these guys, it should be something that they should be fairly familiar with and should be able to push pretty hard. We saw a winning time there, you said, in the last heat was right around 5:40, I believe, sub 6. That's moving for this, and that's also a really good time for Jackie.
Right, and I think similar to Jackie, that 800-meter row, and even a little more so being 800 meters, you can't win it on the row, but you sure as heck can lose it on the row. So you've got to be really careful about your pace on that rower. Again, you don't want to come off 25 seconds behind everybody, but if you come off 20 seconds in front of everybody, you should almost be a little worried.
Matt Fraser, if you watch him do anything that involves a readout screen, he will be looking constantly at the men who are next to him to see what their pace is and where he needs to be to stay ahead of him. Scott Panchik is on the left of your screen. Panchik right now in 3rd place overall. That man, Chandler Smith, in 2nd place overall. And we haven't seen him compete in person since the Rogue Invitational, where he was super impressive, and I think not only proved to us, but proved to himself that he does belong here.
Yeah, that was his first real go, I think, at competing with a full field of elite male competitors at the Rogue Invitational, right? And he definitely did well there, and now he's showing up today. Let's see if he can follow it up here for the rest of this event.
So look at Matt Fraser's screen as he is approaching the 500-meter mark of this opening 800-meter row.
Holding a cool sub 140 pace.
I think that time's going to be pretty common across most of the field. I feel like a lot of the field is going to step off the rower at about the same time for this. The separator will be when they get into that shoulder to overhead, and definitely when they start doing handstand walks down the field.
Bronislav Olenkowicz is your event leader. He came in 11th place overall. An impressive debut for him so far. 5 minutes, 40.63 seconds. The only man to go sub 6 minutes in that first of these 2 heats. The final event of the day for the men. We cut down to 50 total athletes after this event.
And like you said, somebody like Bronislaw, you know, we've never seen, we've rarely seen athletes like that with these higher skill gymnastics movements, like legless rope climbs, like handstand walking. So the fact that they're opening up with events like that and doing really well is very impressive and bodes well, I think, for their entire weekend.
A lot of hands going up in the air from judges whose athletes are on their final 100 meters, and that's Elliott Simmons onto the kettlebell push press. 35 pounds in each hand. Matt Fraser and Chandler Smith, they have to do 66 of these reps, and they advance every 2 repetitions. And now a no rep for Fraser. Those kettlebells need to come below the chin on every rep.
Not only coming below the chin, the tendency is going to be here is to move really fast. These are not very heavy kettlebells for guys. You would think 53s would be something that they would use for something like this. I think this makes the workout much more difficult with them being so light because it's going to burn the shoulders out, but locking out the elbow, making sure you're reaching the full movement standards while maintaining a good pace is going to be key to not getting a no rep.
Right.
Yeah, 2 more no reps for Fraser right there. It's a lot like those thrusters on Jackie. Had what sounds to be a flyover here at the Alliant Energy Center as we approach the 4-minute mark. Matt Fraser continues to advance. Takes some time to shake out his arms. And Fraser, we can't see him on the screen yet. We don't know if he's on his handstand walk or not. That's Samuel Quant. And Fraser on his final set of 22. Cole Sager is there as well. He's on the left of your screen. Scott Panchik of the green just got hit with a no rep. He's in the middle of your screen.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of no reps go down, but for these guys, as opposed to some of the other movements that we've seen today, a no rep on this is not nearly as costly as it was on, let's say, the legless rope climb. So a lot of no reps happening, but it's because, like Dan was saying, they're repping them out so fast that it's easy to miss the lockout, miss the handles below the chin.
Matt Fraser may have wound up doing about 80 of those things, but he's done. Fraser, the first man onto the handstand walk. He has a minute to track down Bronislav Olenkowicz's time of 5 minutes, 40.63 seconds. Those sections on the field need to be completed unbroken. If you come down off your hands between the lines, you have to go back to the line where you started. Now Fraser is done.
He's definitely got some pressure here. There are definitely a handful of athletes who can catch him, who are keeping up with him.
Cole Sager got almost to the line right there and fell, which is really a costly no rep.
Yonakoski's at the bottom of your screen, and he is creeping up on that man, Matt Fraser. Brent Fikowski is there as well. He is on the right side of your screen, and Fikowski's creeping up on Fraser. Fraser back on his hands, looking to earn another event win here.
Wow.
He's got
If he
10
stays
seconds.
on his hands, he's got it. Make it 11. Matt Fraser, 2 for 2 on day one. Perfect to start the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games. Meanwhile, Brent Fikowski has fallen. We'll have to go back. Yonakoski is across the finish line. Koski will take third, as Bronislav Alenkowicz will take second in the event. Now, Brent Fikowski has to retreat back to that line, and points are slipping through his fingers as more men are now starting to come across the finish line here. That was a costly mistake for Brent Fikowski. James Newberry is in.
Super similar to those rope climbs, right? I mean, just if you fail one rep, if you fail anything, if you tire out on your arms like that, that is going to set you back huge in a field of competitors as the top 1% in the world in the sport.
Right.
Ben Smith, Scott Panchik, Noah Olson, Logan Collins, Jacob Hebner, Travis Mayer. Now Pat Vellner is in. Samuel Cornier is in. Vellner is going to take 12th in the event.
And the question for me right now is, where's Chandler Smith?
And now Brent Fikowski, who was within inches of a top 3 finish, is across. Fikowski's going to take 17th. 68 points, though, for Brent Fikowski. Pat Vellner, meanwhile, I told you, finished 10th or 12th in the event. That's worth 78 points. And now it's just a frantic finish. It's just about everybody is finishing up here.
In that one fall, it looked like about 8 guys passed Brent Fikowski.
Easily.
George Sterner, Adrian Moonviller, Fikowski, Panchik, Simmons, Quant, Connor Duddy, Simone Montalia, Gumanson, Chandler Smith still on the field.
This was a skill I don't think we've seen from him, or at least I haven't. It definitely wasn't at the Rogue Invitational. This was something new.
He's doing damage control on this last 44 feet. You just really hope he can stay on those hands and finish the event.
Not a ton of points separating every competitor here as we come across the finish line. Same amount of points that were on the line in event number 1. Chandler Smith is probably going to fall out of second place overall. Scott Panchik, Jorgen Gumanson, Jeffrey Adler, and James Newberry were behind him. Newberry had a 4th place finish in this event, so Newberry, he's going to grab 94 points.
Huge for James Newberry. And Ben Smith just proving that he should have gotten the wild card and that he very much deserves to be at the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games.
And Chandler Smith wound up finishing in 48th place. That's just 27 points for him. So James Newberry could find himself in the top 3 here after day 1. "90 seconds before we hit that 10-minute time cap.
Oh,
See the fatigue
so
set in on those
heartbreaking.
last few steps.
That is
heartbreaking for
Jason Smith out of South Africa.
He's got 1 minute and 10 seconds. He's got the time to finish.
Well, Jason Smith is on the cut line here. He came in 80th place overall. He's got to get across the finish line to have a fighting chance of moving on in this competition.
And this is the tough part. Similar to those rope climbs, it's like if he kicks up too soon and he's not ready and he comes down halfway through, he's wasted a whole nother rep, right?
Taking that chance has
Taking
a
the
very
chance.
big repercussion if it doesn't work out for
Right.
you.
On the
Cole
other hand,
Sager's out
there's-
there cheering him on, along with Jacob Hebner.
and there's other athletes in other heats that may have finished before him, so he's got to keep pushing.
About 30 seconds to go. Jason Smith, this is huge for him if he can get across the finish line. Sager and Hebner trying to get the crowd behind Jason Smith, the national champion from South Africa.
He could do it. Oh,
Another fall for Smith, and it's not going to happen for him. And Jason Smith is in danger of getting cut here after 2 events at the 2019 Reebok CrossFit Games.
You can see him shaking his head. It's just there's nothing else I can do.
Exactly.
That's what it is. The tank's emptied.